Okay, Mr. Steve Fryson, thank you for allowing us in your studio. What's the name of the studio?
The studio is Fryson Drum Academy.
Outstanding. We wanted to come in and learn a little bit about you, and we thank you for being an artist of color.
Thank you for having us.
Give us a little of your background and how you got started in music and eventually into becoming a drummer.
Well, my background goes back to my childhood. My dad, who recently passed, he was a musician, guitarist, and he traveled with a band on the circuit, Aim and the House Rocks. They played all over Florida. And so while he was traveling, when I was 4, my mom took me to church, grew up in a sanctified church, and was fascinated with the drums when I was 4. And Gail Carwise used to sit me in her lap every Sunday. She was the drummer at the time. She was a teenager. And she'd sit me in her lap every Sunday. And from there, as I got older, like 5 or 6, they started letting me play a song at the church. Because if you know anything about the sanctified church, everybody in the church can play drums. And so you have to wait your turn, or you have to earn your turn. So growing up in church, played and just loved the drums. And so when I got into middle school, learned how to read music, was in the marching band and the concert band. And then when I went to high school, was in the marching band, concert band. But then I started playing in the jazz band and got influenced in jazz. And then I came up here in '90, marched in the Florida A&M University Marching 100 band under Dr. Foster. Just played local gigs here in town. And then back in 2010, I started touring and recording with an artist named Cody Chestnut. So I played on his records, landed on 100 B-sides and remixes. Had a great opportunity to play on the Golden Globe soundtrack for the movie 12 Years a Slave. And then I opened up Fryson Drum Academy because I just love teaching kids. In this area, was percussion instructor at Rickers High School, 95 to 97, went back 99. In the 2000s, also was a percussion instructor in Thomasville, and I've assisted at Griffin, just various schools in the area I tried to just help out with.
Okay, and so what city was that you grew up in?
I grew up in Daytona Beach, Florida.
Okay, Daytona Beach. Okay, and how did you end up in Tallahassee? It was from coming to FAMU?
Yes.
Was there a big music influence in Daytona?
It's so many. One of the drummers, there's a lot of drummers who really influenced me on the local level. Like I say, Sister Cowwise, who she's deceased, and I'm just really unbelievably grateful for her sharing her gift with me. We have Aaron Watson Sr., Leroy Robinson, Colin Bo Peep, all the drummers that played with Abe and the House Rockers, you know, they was a big influence. Solomon Brewer, Melvin Childs, all those was the local drummers who just had a major influence on me. And then when you talk about professional drummers, you know, Buddy Miles, Dennis Chambers, Billy Cobham, you know, Dave Wacko, some of the newer guys, Chris Coleman, you know, Chris Dave, those are the younger guys that's out there right now who I also listen to that heavily influence my playing. A lot of the jazz drummers, Roy Haynes, Buddy Rich, and the list goes on and on.
Okay. All right. And so since this is the Artist of Color series, we always ask, what's your favorite color?
My favorite color is blue.
And why is blue your favorite color?
Blue is my favorite color. It just grew on me. You know, I like the darker colors, but blue is just my color.
So it's not light blue, it's dark blue, navy blue?
I like navy, but any shade of blue I like.
Okay. And does blue influence your music at all?
Blue does. Blue brings me happiness. You know, so when I'm feeling good, I have on blue, it just makes me feel great.
Tell me the different instruments that you play, and I know drums are your number one instrument? Why did you choose drums as the number one?
Well, drums for me was about the heartbeat. It's the heartbeat of anything, especially growing up in the black church. You have to know what you're doing on the drums. And so the drums is just something I connected with. My dad was a guitarist, and I love the guitar, but drums makes me feel a certain way.
And what other instruments do you play?
I play bass. I grew up playing bass in church as well. I don't play bass as much these days, but I grew up playing bass. And then as a music major in college, you have to take 4 semesters of piano.
What do you hope to achieve through your art form?
One of the things, especially with the Fryson Drum Academy, is just inspiring others to accomplish their goals. As an artist, I have a new power trio, and so when we're playing, I encourage the guys, we're trying to do originals, give people the opportunity to know that we are artists just as well. So the biggest thing is just to make people feel good. If you're trying to learn how to play the drums, want to help you accomplish your goals.
Okay. How do you feel about being considered an artist of color?
Being an artist of color, sometimes we do have struggles, as far as some of the venues, some of the pay. I know history-wise, talking to a lot of the older gentlemen who came before me, the other artists of color who came before me had a hard time. They really paved the way, for us. So I think some things kind of balancing out a little bit. But yeah, we do have certain challenges that we have to deal with.
What would you say to a young person trying to get into music or trying to learn instruments? What would you say to influence them?
I would tell anybody, for me, it's all about the church. Like if you're trying to play bass, keys, or drums, like you need to be visiting the black church and watching those guys play. And after the service is over, just go up to somebody and say, you know what, I'm interested in learning how to play this instrument. Do you have some advice? Could you show me a chord, or could you show me a drum lick, or are you teaching lessons? And just try to find out locally who's teaching lessons. You can learn on YouTube, but being with someone, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, is my advice. Seek out, professional help, or just, like I say, if you go to the local churches or the clubs, I remember it was a period in my life, once I graduated high school in 1988, while all of my friends were going around chasing girls and they was doing various extracurricular activities, I was going to various clubs, restaurants, listening to live music, like really studying the craft. Because you have to make a sacrifice when you want to be a musician or athlete. You have to make a sacrifice and understand that you have to put in the work. If you don't put in the work, somebody else will.
Okay, great. And as we were talking earlier, you told me that you're about to make a new achievement. Would you like to speak a little on that?
Yes, I encourage anybody. My journey educationally started out in 1988. And through family and playing various gigs and working, I didn't achieve my AA degree 23 years after high school. I still was determined to make it happen, to show my kids that when you start out on a journey, it's going to be some bumps in the road, but continue that journey by any means necessary. And so after I toured from 2010 to 2014 all around the world, 2016 after the tour ended, I had $1,000 that was coming to me from public stock. And I was going to open up an academy, but I knew I had 15 hours left to finish my Bachelor of Science in Music. And so I made the decision to go back to Florida A&M University, and I finished my bachelor's in 2016, 28 years after high school. And then this coming fall, I will start the master's program at Florida State University in jazz. So I'm very excited to make a difference in young people's life who, you know, they want to go to college. I want to help them get there.
That's beautiful. Well, I want to congratulate you on your achievement.
Thank you.
I also want to thank you for allowing us to come in and learn a little bit more about Mr. Fryson.
Thank you so much for having us and doing this interview. I think this artist series that you're doing is going to be very impactful, especially in this COVID time. Artists need encouragement to, you know, so they know they're not facing these problems and these situations by themselves. Also, I share with people, if you're an artist, especially in this COVID time, do not just sit around and do nothing. This is the time to really grow. It ain't no gigs right now. I mean, some gigs trying to come back, but for the most part, this is your time to go in the woodshed, as we say, and take your skills and your craft to a whole nother level. Because when this is over, and it will be over, it's going to be very competitive competing for gigs. And you want to be the front runner. You want to be one who's developed your skills and moving forward. You don't want to be the guy or the lady who you sound the exact same that you sounded before March. By the time it's over, you want to really elevate your artistry.
Hi, I'm Stan Johnson, creator of the Artist of Color series, showcasing, informing, and exposing the creative talents of artists that live around us and with us, all expressing themselves through the visual and performing arts. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to see more videos.